We begin with breaking news. Hurricane Ian, now a Category 2 storm, making its way inland from the southwestern coast. The National Hurricane Center says the storm surge has likely peaked, but water levels remain high.
More than 1 million residents are dealing with mass flooding and power outages. The state is now planning rescue efforts once it's safe. Reporter Gloria Pazmino is live in Tampa tonight with the latest.
Hurricane Ian now officially downgraded to a Category 2 storm, but it's still packing powerful and dangerous winds. Here in Tampa, we are feeling the effects of that hurricane force wind. Over 190,000 people are currently reporting outages. Hurricane Ian slamming Florida's Gulf Coast with near Category 5 strength, causing life-threatening flooding.
Overwhelmingly, it's been that surge that has been the biggest issue, and the flooding.
The monster storm making landfall with winds of 150 miles per hour.
I've been here since the mid-70s. This is absolutely by far the worst storm I have ever seen. I can tell you, I'm looking at the businesses downtown that are all flooded, windows blown out.
Even before the worst of the storm hit, people in Fort Myers already seeing mass flooding.
The storm surge is very significant. We're actually seeing cars and boats float down the street.
Hurricane force winds bringing down power lines. Ahead of the storm, long lines on interstates as residents scramble to evacuate, some choosing to stay behind and ride it out.
I've got my safe room ready. We have a second bathroom with no windows. I've got a bed in there. I've got the dog food, water. The bathtub is full.
Governor Ron DeSantis submitting a request for a major disaster declaration for all 67 counties, which allows the federal government to send funds for cleanup. Now in Fort Myers and not far from the area where Hurricane Ian first made landfall, serious damage has already been reported. There's also several power outages there now. About 90% of the city is currently without power as Hurricane Ian continues its destructive path across the state. Live in Tampa, Gloria Pazmino reporting.
Gloria, thank you. We're taking a live look now from Florida, where winds from Hurricane Ian are lashing at the shore of Daytona Beach. Wind speed here has been clocked at near 100 miles per hour.
To get a better scope of the damage tonight, this video shows water receding from the Tampa Bay, Manatee River and Charlotte Harbor as Ian draws it in, all before spewing it out again as that dangerous 5 to 12 foot storm surge.
And you can see the storm surge coming in on Sanibel Island, the water rising and flooding streets in a matter of minutes. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is tracking the hurricane's path tonight. Mike, the range and duration of the storm is just massive.
Although it's weakened down to Category 2 and will continue to weaken down to tropical storm strength in the next 12 to 18 hours, it's far from being over across Florida or much of the southeastern United States. The eye wall is now deteriorated as it's gone on land, but it is still a very powerful storm. And that little parallelogram in red, that is a tornado watch. There's still a threat of tornadoes along with the very heavy rainfall expected. It will then travel back out to sea just to the east of Jacksonville, come back in South Carolina near Charleston, and eventually move up into the central Appalachians. And one of the things that's going to really produce is tremendous rainfall, not just in Florida, but in Georgia and South Carolina. Many areas will see at least 5 inches of rain. Some areas will see as much as 20 inches of rain. So although the storm surge threat has diminished, the threat from flooding due to all of this rain will continue for the next couple of days.
Thank you, Mike. Xcel Energy is sending support to Florida in Ian's wake. Right now, 270 contract workers are en route to assist with electrical outages. The company says they're ready to send more workers as needed. At last check, more than 1.9 million customers in Florida are experiencing power outages, and the number is expected to keep rising. Well, some Coloradans are already in Florida. Others are on their way, ready to help in the storm's aftermath. 8 volunteers with the Red Cross got to Florida on Sunday. Once the storm passes, they will do things like provide shelter, food, and emotional support to people displaced. If you would like to help, you can donate on the Red Cross's website.
Hurricane Ian may drive up food prices even more. The storm is threatening production of phosphate used to make fertilizer. Mosaic Co. says it's bracing for a substantial impact. The company operates several phosphate facilities near Tampa. Many U.S. farmers rely on the fertilizer supply to help them grow crops. Now stay with Denver 7 as we track Hurricane Ian and its impact as it moves over Florida and up the coast. We will have updates on air, online, and on the Denver 7 Plus app.
2 men will spend the rest of their lives behind bars after being found guilty in a shooting at an RTD bus stop last year.
Elias Chavez and Tlaloc Chavez both received 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for the deaths of D'Angelo Tafoya and David Lara.
Denver 7's Rob Harris was in the courtroom today as family of the victims got the closure they have been looking for.
Sad, bittersweet.
Angie Tafoya has walked through the doors of the Lindsay Flanagan Courthouse many times now. But this time, she's hopeful she'll walk out feeling a little more peace.
It's been a living hell. It's been devastating for me and my family.
Tafoya's family and friends have been waiting for answers for 546 days. April 1st, 2021, D'Angelo Tafoya and David Lara were at this RTD bus stop off Federal and Alameda when they were both shot and killed.
Nobody deserves to go through this. I wouldn't want anybody to go through this.
Every day since, Angie Tafoya has prayed for justice. And to mark the 1-year anniversary of his death, she gathered her whole family to pray and to release balloons at the bus stop where D'Angelo died.
We just want justice, and it will be served. I believe in the Lord, and I have my faith, so it will be served.
Nearly 6 months after that vigil, and 18 months since she lost her son, Angie Tafoya says her prayers were answered in this courthouse, now that her son's killers will spend the rest of their lives behind bars.
My son's not here, to speak on his behalf, but I'm his voice. I'm his mom, and I'll always be here to keep his memory alive, and we finally got justice. That's all that matters.
In his sentencing, the judge asked everyone connected with this case to end the violence on our streets and to bring some peace to our community. And that's something the Tafoya family says they're hoping for too. For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
Right, Rob, thank you for that. Now, the New Zealand and British governments are getting involved in the death investigation surrounding a Boulder man who was allegedly shot by a Clear Creek sheriff deputy. 22-year-old Christian Glass lived here in Colorado, but he held U.S., UK, and New Zealand citizenships. The sheriff's office says a deputy shot Glass back in June after he called 911 for help from his stranded car. Deputies say they feared Glass was going to stab them. The Clear Creek district attorney says she has responded to the British and New Zealand governments.
A sad update tonight to a story we brought you last night at 8. Authorities in Nepal say they have recovered the body of a U.S. extreme skier, Hillary Nelson of Telluride. This comes days after searching for her after reports she fell while climbing the world's 8th tallest mountain. Nelson was the captain of the North Face athletic team and had a career spanning 2 decades. Her body is being taken to Nepal's capital for an autopsy.
Colorado's coalition of Congress members are putting their focus on the health and well-being of our veterans. They have sent a bipartisan letter to the VA secretary urging him to authorize community care for veterans with traumatic brain injuries. This comes following concerns from veterans who say they have been denied community care authorization by the VA for treatment at the Marcus Institute for Brain Health at the CU Anschutz Medical Center. Today, we spoke with Colorado Senator John Hickenlooper, who says this is an important step to give back to the military.
We need to make sure they know that we're taking care of them, that we are behind them, we're behind their families. They put themselves in harm's way to protect America. And we need to make sure that they know that we are behind them.
The number of veterans returning home from combat with TBI has reached 500,000 since 2001. About half of those veterans also meet the criteria of having PTSD.
And going deeper on this issue, the state auditor says Colorado's Division of Veterans Affairs is not sufficiently supervising or supporting veteran services. The main takeaways from the performance audit: the division lacks a sufficient training for veteran service officers, and the number of veterans to VSOs varies across the state, with a 10,000 to 1 ratio in the Denver metro and a 3,000 to 1 ratio in all other regions. You can view the whole audit report on the Colorado General Assembly website.
A new form of fentanyl hitting the streets. The DEA's warning to parents about addiction among kids and young adults.
And a new treatment offering hope for Alzheimer's patients. The latest data that's showing promising results.
Warm and dry today, but a cold front on the way when rain and cooler weather will arrive.
Plus, finding success while feeling fulfilled.
The whole point is to prepare these people, our clients, for life after they graduate.
How one nonprofit in Lakewood is expanding opportunities for Coloradans on the spectrum.